is Mr. Gunnar Henderson. He's 6'2", 210 pounds. He's 21 years old. He's out of high school, Morgan Selma, Alabama. He was drafted by the Baltimore Orioles in 2019, round 2, pick number 42 overall. And I can see the smile like creaking in on Ross's face. Like he just wants to like gush. And I'm going to let him, because that's what we're here for, to watch Ross gush over a player.
That's what we're here for?
That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for.
All night.
I got more beer.
All right. Okay. So Gunnar Henderson, you want me to walk through it?
You can walk through it. You can start at the end, whatever you want to do, because it's gonna tell the same story.
Gunnar Henderson is a guy that I think I was not very high on. You know, you hear his name and he came in with some prospect pedigree, and I was kind of like, as I do, fading it. Like I fade basically everybody that comes into the league. I'm like, they're all garbage until they show me otherwise. And Gunnar Henderson was kind of in that quadrant where people were like, he looks kind of interesting. And it's like, nope, not interested. Well, he totally changed the hearts and minds of a lot of people this year, and I'm one of them. And so much so, he became Baseball America's #1 overall prospect. That's huge. That's huge. So let me just walk through this. He debuted in 2019 as an 18-year-old and only 121 plate appearances, didn't show a whole lot, had a 259 batting average. Not a lot of power yet at this point, but this is very early on. After the 2020 break in 2021, he was put into single A. He worked his way through to high A and got a taste of double A at the end of the season. He showed a lot more power. He hit 17 home runs on the season overall, and he stole 16 bases. His slash line was 258, so slightly lower batting average. A lot of that came from that high A level, 350 on base percentage and a 476 slugging percentage. So I wouldn't call that it was a solid season. I wouldn't call it a bad season by any stretch of the imagination. Pretty solid season.
It wasn't a breakout.
But the problem is he struck out 143 times in 463 plate appearances. That's a high strikeout rate.
Yeah.
And if you show me a prospect like that, I'm immediately going to be a little skeptical. Overall in the season, that was a 31% strikeout rate.
Way too high.
It's pretty high. So while other people were interested in him because he was showing a little bit of power and a little bit of speed, I was not buying that.
For somebody that isn't destroying the ball, 31% cannot happen.
I mean, 17 home runs is good, but if you're striking out 31% of the time,
Yep.
I want to see like 30 home runs at that point.
Exactly.
So things changed come 2022 pretty dramatically, and it was obvious to see this very early on. So while I said on the season he struck out 31% of the time in 2021, in double A, where he started, he cut that down to 18%. And you could immediately see the difference that made for him. At double A, he hit 312 with a 452 on base percentage. He actually walked more than he struck out, walked at a 20% rate, and a 573 slugging percentage. To me, that has top prospect billing all over
it. On base plus slugging is at 1.
Baseball America agrees. That's why they put him #1.
As a massive deal at basically his first taste at double A. I don't want to count the 15 at bats that he had in 2021, but 2022 was basically his first taste of AA.
So he was promoted to AAA. Again, we're talking about a 21-year-old, so he's still pretty young for that level. Moved up to AAA. The numbers didn't quite hold up as strongly as they did at AA. I think this is more small sample variance in his season, if anything. But he struck out a little bit more, 26%, still an improvement on last season. He hit 288 there with 390 OBP and a 504 slugging percentage. So he just mashed all season long, hit with power, stole a lot of bases. He got a cup of coffee at the end of the season. And there he did a lot of the same. He hit 4 home runs. He hit 259 with a 348 OBP and a 440 slugging percentage. Pretty good debut. And he's pretty close to no longer being prospect eligible. So, but that was great season by Gunnar Henderson. I'm not going to go so far as to put him as the number 1 prospect, but this guy is damn good. And I was trying really hard to get him.
I love the makeup of the Orioles right now. I think the Orioles are going to have a really fun team. A team that Baltimore can get excited about for the first time in a really long time, with Rutschman, Henderson, Mullins. I mean, you got some really, really fun players, and then some more guys coming up through the league. So Gunnar Henderson, Rutschman, lots of hopes there, and I'm excited to watch it. It's going to be good.
I agree. Yeah. The Orioles look very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he comes in overall at number 13, and his comp is Chris Taylor, which I'm not a huge fan of, and I would imagine that Gunnar Henderson can outperform that. But if you look back at Chris Taylor's career, he has a track record for hitting pretty decent power and stealing the occasional bag, and that's what it's pulling out for him. A lot of strikeouts. So it's still seeing the strikeout issue there. Yeah. So really, if we see the Gunnar Henderson that came through at AA, I mean, the ceiling is going to be so much higher than that.
Yeah.
But if he does regress to that, this is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Well, let's give him some time too. Let's not just throw 2023 saying this is his break, his only year that he's got to prove it.
Oh no, of course.
We get plenty of time with Gunnar Henderson. So when he slumps to 225 mid-season, just settle down, fellas.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Agreed.
I'm excited for Gunnar Henderson.
He's going to be really good, and in a up and coming Orioles team, which is it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and of course visit our website, scoutthestatline.com, for more.